I have a huge reveal for everyone, and that it is I solely annihilated the UK. Here is how I did it. I started off by embezzling funds from the United States. Then, I took that money, I bribed one of our agents to make him loyal only to me. Then, I sent him into China. Then, I sent said agent into China to hijack one of their nukes and fire it at the UK. What the alien goal was. Okay. So what was the goal of the aliens?
Well, we'd have to start quite a ways back.
That's fine.
My particular section, conclave of the aliens, way back, we genetically modified these intelligent primates that were on Earth. We hoped it would go well, we were just wanting to help them, but they kind of would out of control. They became very aggressive and violent, and they started lying, and they killed all the other intelligent primate life forms on Earth. So they start expanding really quickly, and I'm sure you all realize I'm talking about you. And we were scared that they would destroy the entire universe. Because you guys are like totally killing everybody in this planet. So we had a few ways to go about fixing this. My particular branch is a researching-based branch, so we were going to change your genetic makeup and make you much less dangerous. That's why we were abducting people. I have my human colony right here in my hand. And another approach was to infiltrate all of the higher-ups of the country and control them so they never would expand to space. And then the last one was to terrify everybody so much they wouldn't want to go to space. And we kind of succeeded in all of those branches.
Except for research.
For some reason. So that was our goals. We are very peaceful, actually. Yeah. We never actually attacked you directly, if you had noticed. We just caused psychological terror, abducted people and returned them, and stole resources. Alright, so just to give a perspective from each of the different countries, I'm going to have the Prime Minister just briefly say kind of how the game went for them. So, U.S. Prime Minister.
Well, it went okay till the end. So when we made we all had a big group that was together for it was basically all the countries except China and Japan. Oh yeah, and Brazil, because they didn't really do anything. But we had a big group of all the leaders, and we decided that one round we would hold out, and the next round after that we would nuke Japan as a request from the aliens to show our allegiance to them. And then what happened was Russia nuked early. And we weren't ready for that, and then everything else just started following after that, and it was so bad. And now, as the President of the United States, I am hereby banishing Bruce T. Willis from work to the UN. You can leave now.
Alright, so, UK, how did your game go?
It was really good until we got nuked. That wasn't very good. And we're still friends with the US, except a couple members.
Or one.
We were in the alliance that was going to destroy Japan. But unfortunately, we had kind of a preemptive strike. We were a defense person. Yeah. Russia was cool except for one. But our government at the end actually collapsed. If you didn't know that already. We went into public panic, and now we don't really know what's happened to the UK.
All right, France. What happened to France?
Well, we survived, and that's basically it.
Tower was taken!
By the way, France, were you behind all of those things that were in the papers earlier?
No!
I wasn't very kind to the media, though.
By the way, for anyone that didn't know, we'll talk about the Global News Network in a little bit, but they actually got censored by the UN on turn 5, I think.
We were trying to stop global terror by censoring the newspaper.
Did that work?
And the newspaper got super pissed at us and thought we were being sexist because they were all women. And they ended up deciding to publish their own freelance newspaper, and we were going to send a secret agent into the GNN to find out if they were funding this freelance newspaper so we could censor them.
assassinate all of them.
But then all the aliens and nukes happened, so that kind of didn't happen.
All right. So Germany, what happened in Germany?
At the very beginning, we were just trying to find intel of everybody and what exactly you guys were trying to do, because we were really confused why everybody was making nukes. Near the middle, we decided to go off on our own and not break the allegiance, but just go behind their back and secretly meet with the aliens.
We knew about the peace missing by like turn 3.
And we knew about the peace pretty early, but we didn't want to go out because then we were afraid that everybody would turn against us, because GNN said that we had met with aliens, but we said we didn't. Then we did. It was really bad. And then at the end, we just decided to go along and try to nuke Japan.
We almost died because of it too.
We almost died. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. Russia. What happened in Russia?
So, I almost spent my 4 hours for having allies in the area. I did. But this young senior man made it against us. Suddenly, I spent 4 hours and he spent 1 minute.
I knew something was suspicious. They said, okay, next turn we're going to fire all our nukes onto Japan. That's how you did.
You did a that test.
Myself, I decided to fire on myself. Now here's why. So the public opinion, I thought that it would go, everyone's public opinion would sink down and then we'd lose immediately. I mean, when
Which
that happened.
actually would have happened.
Yeah. So if we all fired, so in essence, I saved the game.
All right. China. What happened in the magical world of China?
I have to walk this defense secretary off a cliff of nukes.
So we wanted to be alliance with everybody, because everyone having good trust with us would be a good thing to have. And then, obviously, build resources, keep China in the lead. Obviously, part of our plan was to keep the U.S. and Japan out of getting good things. We kind of sucked at that part. And then just nuke everything. U.S. and UK word's going to be gone, but thanks to Brazil for nuking. Oh no, it was Jonathan. Thanks for nuking it for us.
So originally, I was going to start nuking ahead of time before all the nuking started. I was going to be the first one to actually do it, and I was going to launch all of them. Literally at pretty much every target that has been giving us problems. So everybody except
All right.
I'd like to say something real quick about Germany.
What's that?
Our original plan at the start of the game was to ally with the aliens and take over the world. Again.
Wow.
All right. Japan. Boy, you had a rough game. What happened?
We were nuked, but we did end up surviving. And I pretty much knew we were going to, we were not on the friendly side of things. As soon as the USA would not help us with the aliens in Australia and refused to take care of them. So at that point it was pretty much
Yeah, basically as soon as I said I wasn't part of Australia, I told all of my allies, don't do anything in Australia.
Yeah, so that was yeah, and then we got nuked.
Yeah.
I got nuked, I was abducted, and after being abducted, I defected to Russia, which the scientist here, Ivan, informed me that they were going to send me back to the aliens, so I defected to China.
Yeah, so the other problem with Japan is then they had very little to do with research because their scientist was abducted so early in the game.
It also doesn't help that no one would join me on my research, despite previous
We may have helped you in the beginning, but we may have to sever ties.
One part of that is we had like 15 things researched here.
All right, so India. What happened in India?
At the very beginning of the game, I wanted to spice things up a little bit, but it got too spicy way too quick. So I had to back way off and play really conservative, and then we all kind of started getting together and like wanting to nuke Japan. Now about halfway through the game, we knew where the base was, and we were kind of waiting for the aliens to do something fishy. Especially after we nuked Japan, if the aliens were like, hey, we want to turn humans against each other and just commit mass human genocide, then we were like, you know what, we should take out the aliens. So we knew they were in Australia like by turn 4, I think, or something like that. We knew them really early on, but we didn't want to tell anyone just in case. Yeah, that's kind of how India went.
All right.
By the way, we had 2 bases.
We had 2 bases.
All right, Brazil. What happened with Brazil throughout the game?
Africa was where I was.
I think we science alliance.
Yeah, we basically put most of our resources into.
Everyone ignored us.
Everyone
ignored us and lied to us, and we had no idea what everyone else was doing for the entire game.
So no information at all. Now, did you start the Science Alliance though?
Grant.
Is that grant?
So wait,
All right, so science.
Okay, so the way the whole science itself was rather a petty, interesting thing. So in the beginning, everybody's doing science, and then the Germans and the Russians started talking. Surprise, surprise. And then they brought Brazil in on it. So at first there was this little like 3 block of Germany, Brazil, and Russia, which is kind of ironic because you know ex-Soviets and Nazis usually find their way to South America. But then France, who was getting horribly underfunded by his government at the very beginning, he had like 1 science card, he couldn't do anything, was like, you know, I'm not going to get anything done unless I get people to help me, is the story I heard. So he kind of got in on the whole Germany, Russia, Brazil thing, and slowly assimilated the UK and the US and India ultimately into that, leaving China and Brazil with like no research. So by the way, China and Brazil, these guys had like gravity drives and fission and no fusion.
China and Japan.
And you guys had like red mercury and advanced agent squads. So like they were years ahead of you technologically because they were sharing everything they researched with each other. Trading cards, like US had 2 research centers and human research things other people failed. So like it became the Science Alliance versus the Asian countries.
We were laughing at the
All right. So, Global News Network, how did your day go?
Well, by the 2nd edition, we were already called evil women. That was pretty great, ruining people's days. And then the second hit that we took was everyone doubting our sources and how our reputation and everything, so that was bad. And then we got hit with technology issues because all the computers died, so then we couldn't print, and then we tried to come back in and we're like, what the heck is going on? And then the UN tried to censor us. So, because they were scared of us, pretty much, because the truth is scary. So we were sitting there, angry as you can be, and we decided to make our own network and reveal that one because it was unfair and we have no resources to push back at you. So we just made our own news thing, and that worked out great. And then people called us even more evil. And it was a good day. It was a good day.
And for one censored, it was entertaining. We liked your news, and don't ask why we get the news. We just get the news.
And the one censored version was basically like, oh, look who got an award. Look who's cute. That was basically it.
Yeah. Who told you that the United States was going to nuke Russia or China?
Oh yeah, that was another thing. The U.S. tried to get the Prime Minister of England to make out with me to reveal the sources. Wait, So I would like to say that one, prostitution is bad. And the second thing is that I'm not going to reveal my sources until now, which it was the Japanese, beginning of the Japanese,
That would be Sebastian.
And, oh yeah, Brazil. Brazil was my second source. So there was actually two sources for that.
Why do you guys hate us so much?
Why do you want to let me eat your cheese?
That's when you did stuff like that.
Alright, is that everybody? So, do you want to talk about your faction? Or
Sure. Yeah.
okay, so let's have the other two alien factions mention what they were up to. So.
All right. So we're the.
Stand up,
Source
Gary, stand up.
faction. What?
Stand up.
So whatever. Okay. We're the Four-Sword Conclave. That would be me, him, and him. And our whole point was what we were focusing on was was taking your resources and figuring out what you're not just taking them, just like studying them, seeing how far you guys have come, and seeing just the things that you were using and how you were using them. And so when we put down our ships over there, we weren't trying to attack you guys, just so you know that. We were just trying to take your resources.
I have a question. What was up with Australia? Why were there so many things there?
Because we wanted to make a base, and Australia was easy.
That's also why we ended up with a base.
Oh yeah,
We had a base there.
see, the thing is we weren't attacking. That was not the point. We were just trying to set bases so we could, explore and keep an eye on all of you humans.
Japan's original plan was to actually attack the units in Australia, so...
Oh, well, glad we captured you. So.
And you guys got nuked, so...
Is that a question, or? What's that?
After we had a fiasco with the nuking, you paid us quite handsomely for committing mass genocide.
That's a good question. All of the nations that had been the most friendly with us. And that was Russia, Germany, and US.
All right.
We were trying to be peaceful, but apparently not all of us.
All right, one more faction.
Well, we were the Erosion faction, which our focus was taking down your key infrastructure. And I gotta say, that worked beautifully. First off, I love PsyOps teams. I love them so much. And I love decoys. But just to be clear, the PsyOps teams do not destroy people. They just influence the minds of them. They are not destructive in any form or way.
All right, so
No, we do not destroy your mind. We can. We can
Influence them so that you're really scared of killing them.
all right, so
Influence them greatly.
you have more? Yes. Okay, so
To be honest, it worked pretty well for us, and we were able to. Well, also one last question. Why did nobody go for Africa?
There's a civil war
Agreed.
what's that?
No one attacked our base in Australia.
Yep.
What the hell, you guys?
That's okay.
I got you.
They just ignore you.
All right.
Just flying around.
So, kind of the interesting point of this game was to have the different factions that actually had subtly different goals. It's kind of the idea of like how we think of like kind of the Middle East, where we say like, oh, they're Muslims, and actually there's all sorts of different kinds and have very different aspects to the way that they look at the world. And so it was kind of interesting to see how people would cooperate. The whole point of the aliens was really just peaceful and to make sure that the world would be peaceful and whether or not you would cooperate or not. So there you go.
Celebrate. I'd like to note that it was the computer that told us to suggest nukes, not us. It was our supreme computer that suggested it.
All right.
And I guess.
That is everything.